hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I'm going to show you how I made these coasters for spring for my home. So I wanted to try sublimation on acrylic. I had heard that you could sublimate on acrylic, but it has to be something called cast acrylic. So I got these acrylic discs from Amazon, and I will put a link below for all the supplies that I used today. And there's two different sizes. These are the larger ones. They're like 4 inches, and they're clear acrylic discs. I thought these would be perfect for coasters. I have a new bar that I put behind my sectional, and it has 3 bar stools, so I thought it would be really fun to do like 3 coasters for St. Patrick's Day and for Easter. So they have like a protective film on both sides. So you're going to want to remove that from both sides. I thought maybe I could start here and do 2 at a time. They're 4 inches and my press is 9 inches, my easy press 2. But I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get it all on there, so I do end up pressing them individually. But what I'm going to do is put down some wax paper to protect my Cricut mat, then my acrylic discs. Now I went online and printed out 4-inch images that I wanted to use today. These I have designed. I made some hot plates for my kitchen with the same design, so I thought it'd be fun to bring in a matching design for these. They're little beach scenes for St. Patrick's Day and for Easter. But I think they're going to work on the circle size too. The circle is slightly smaller than 4 inches, so I printed these at 4 inches. I probably should have printed them a little bit bigger, but I didn't want anything to get cut off. So I'm just lining those up and attaching those with heat tape. Now I was told to use heat tape on these, but I do notice that you can see an impression from the heat tape left in the acrylic, even though it was on the bottom like that with the paper on top. So I'm not really sure how to avoid that. If you know how to avoid that, please leave a comment below. I'd appreciate it. I go to press it and then I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is all going to fit. I better be safe than sorry and just do 1 at a time. And so that's what I do. So I go on my Cricut Easy Press at 400 degrees for 1 minute. And I did these images. I printed them in reverse, like I flipped them, so that I could sublimate on the top of these. And they'd be going the right direction. So it is like just a puddle of like hot acrylic at this point. So I'm going to carefully move that to my concrete floor. I'm in my garage and I'm going to cover it with one of these like heavy wood blocks. I had 2 of those. So you need something heavy and something that can withstand heat to put on top of those to make sure that your coasters stay flat, that they don't get messed up. So I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to do 3 of the St. Patrick's Day ones and 3 of the Easter coasters. And this project was a lot of fun. I'm going to show you all the steps that I do today to sublimate them, to finish the backs, and what I completely finished the bottoms of them with. So just going to keep going, 400 for 1 minute. Then I'm going to move it carefully to a flat surface, put a wood block on there, and allow them to cool a little bit. Now, this paper sticks to the acrylic really bad, and I was expecting that. So I'm going to go ahead and after they cool off a little bit, I'm going to soak them in water to try to get the sublimation paper off of them. So I've got a system now. The Easter one is the only one that I had a little bit of problem with, not getting the entire image on there. Maybe I should have done that one a little bit larger. But I will include a link to these images that I designed on Canva as well below in the description. Now this is just cold water, a bowl of cold water. And also I grabbed a magic eraser because I saw that that could help me get the paper off. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start submerging these in the cold water. I think they are cooled off enough that they can go in here. And really on all 6 of them, pretty flat. We did a good job here. I really think putting something heavy on top of it while it's all gooey is like really important. So we're going to start trying to get the paper off. And this is how like stuck they are. They're pretty stuck. Now, I was told to do the sublimation paper on top. I don't know if it would have been better if I would have done the sublimation paper on the bottom, or if I would have maybe decreased the heat and did it for a little bit longer, because the paper did stick really bad on these. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to tear off the sheet and take off the heat tape on all of these, and then I'm going to have to scrub them. So I was told magic erasers work really well for this. So I'm getting them good and wet. And then I'm going to go in with a magic eraser and I'm going to just start scrubbing all of the paper off. I did have to scrub pretty aggressively, but it does come off eventually. Now I did find that it loses the like glossy sheen on the top of the acrylic because I sublimated on top of the acrylic. I think it got really hot. I don't know if I would have sublimated on the bottom, if it would have left the other side glossy. I might try that the next time that I sublimate on these and try sublimating on the bottom instead. Okay, I have the paper off all of them. And I am just cleaning those up a little bit more. Now, they look really good because my background is white. You see that when I pick them up, they're clear because there is no like white ink for sublimation. So I want to cover the back of them with white so they will really stand out and be bold. So this is my first attempt. I just tried cutting Cricut vinyl with my Cricut in the right size and putting that on there. And I got air bubbles really bad. Now, I tried several different methods with that. Wet, all different kinds of things. And using transfer paper, every time I got bubbles. So this time I'm going to try HTV. I heard that you could do HTV for the back of them. So the only one white I had was this holographic. And that could have been my problem here. But it says to do 300 for 5 seconds. And it was totally not stuck. So I go back in and do another 5 seconds. Not stuck. I let it cool. It wasn't stuck. I even tried doing it for 20 seconds and letting it cool. Totally not stuck. So then I was like, okay, yeah, I want the back of these to be white. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint them. Heck, none of that was working for me. So I'm just going to use one of these paint rollers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make some chalk paint. I thought that would cover better. So I'm using just a little bit of water, 1 bottle of white acrylic paint, and then 2.5 teaspoons of calcium carbonate. I get this on Amazon. I can post a link below to the recipe for my chalk paint and for the calcium carbonate. I get that on Amazon. And just mix that all up. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint the back of these because I am done with the other methods. I'm not sure what I was doing wrong, but I couldn't get anything. Maybe if I had the right kind of white HTV. So I'm just going to go in and try to cleanly just paint the back of these. I do go over it with 3 coats to get a really solid coating of that white chalk paint on the back of our little acrylic discs. And I think these are the perfect size for coasters. When I saw them, that was the first thing I thought, because I was like, what am I going to do with these? I know I wanted to do sublimation on acrylic, but I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do with them. And I've been wanting to do sublimation on acrylic from the Dollar Tree, but I don't think it's cast acrylic because they said the cheaper acrylic's not. So I am cleaning off the front of them, trying to get the paint off the front that bled through with just some alcohol wipes. And then I'm going to cover the bottom of them with some of this adhesive cork from the Dollar Tree. I use this on the bottom of my hot plates that I do the sublimation on vinyl, and I think these are going to work really well. And I'm just going to use my coaster to draw a circle on the bottom of those. If you wanted to use your Cricut to cut these out and get perfect circles, you totally can. I've done that before. But what I did was I just cut it out a little bit larger than the coaster, and then I can sand the edges and get a perfect circle that way as well. So just attaching that to my dry painted surface on my coaster. And this sheet gave me a 3 with like a little partial left. And luckily I had some partials left from my hot plates that I made the other day. And I'm going to have enough to do all 6 coasters. And this is going to protect my new bar. It's going to give them a little bit more of a substantial feel and make the coaster overall nicer. So once I get it on there, I go in with a sanding block from the Dollar Tree and I just start sanding off all that excess cork around the edges until I get a perfect circle. It also removes the paint from the side that may have bled over from when I painted the sides to give me a nice acrylic side to my coaster. And these turned out really cute. I really love this lucky image I made with the little shamrock on the beach. I think these were my favorite ones today. So they required quite a bit of sanding, cleaning that mess up. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do my Easter ones because I didn't know if I had enough. But luckily I do have enough with my scraps. And so first set is done. And we can go in here and start working on the Easter ones. I'm just removing the paint from the front like I did before and using my scraps to cover the back. And these might not have been, one of them was not quite wide enough, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're just going to attach those to the back. And then we're going to go in and sand them. I think I like that method more than setting up my Cricut to cut it. But it's up to you. You can totally do that. And I'm just going to go in and sand all the paint off the sides. And sand the cork into a perfect circle. Because Lord knows I can't cut a perfect circle. And what I found is I said that they looked a little bit dull or matte, the finish of the top of them, after heating up that cast acrylic. And I don't know if it's because I did it too hot, but I'm just going in and trying to clean it up. There was a few, a little bit of shine in a few places shining through, kind of making it look inconsistent. So I just went in with that sanding block. And it's a fine sanding block and kind of sand it all over just to make the whole things matte. And this is how they turned out. Thank you for watching today. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, comment below if you have any tips for me or if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe.
Always think of you when spring comes. Like it's something in the air at that time, don't know why. Always dream of you when spring comes. It's like the heat